All right. Welcome to the August 4th Beavercreek Rotary meeting. First, I want to thank our readers, Mark Weinstein and Jonathan Hebring, for greeting today. I want to thank our ticket master, Eric Marcus, and Jim Gundel, Mike Swick, Pete Bales, and Mark Weinstein for the program. That's why I didn't get happy. Yeah, we're gonna Good afternoon. Would you join me in prayer? Well, Holy Creator, thank you for the bonds that we have of Rotary between us, for the worries behind us, for the goals and the tasks beyond us, with a thirst for knowledge and a dream for a polio-free world. We are thankful for our Rotary friends and for the meal we are about to. Amen. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Mr. Hopkins, take care.
This Greta who's running anyway. We have two guests. Janelle. Oh, you go first. Stacy.
Hi, this is Rex. He's our Beavercreek VFW commander today, and this is Chanel. She's also with the Beavercreek VFW. She's our it's a new title. But she's in the
Guys for coming. Thank you.
Oh.
Good.
Mary Beth, our administrator at Village of Big Green.
Well, thank you for coming. Permission.
Sir. Well, good afternoon, everyone. Happy Friday. Celebrating a number of birthdays and anniversaries. And a count of three, I want all of us to say happy birthday to Denny. 1, 2, 3. Happy birthday, Denny. Yesterday, Denny Jarvie celebrated his birthday. Happy birthday to you, sir. We also had two other club member birthdays, Colin and so August is a popular birthday. And also we have one club member anniversary, and yours truly, actually today, exactly 3 years ago, I joined Rotaries. Gibby and Skip, yeah. That was a lot of class. Well, we've had a lot of rain this week, as you all know. And, occasionally I'll sit there and think about random things. And I thought, probably one of the questions maybe that's come across your mind, what an inch of rain equate to snow? Let's say this exact same amount of rainfall happened during the wintertime. Well, according to the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, coverage in the United States is for every inch of rain equates to about the equation of 13 inches of snow. So we're very thankful the temperatures are up because we've got feet of snow right now. Today is August 14th, and today is National Social Security Day. So today in 1930, Roosevelt signed into law the Social Security Act, creating unemployment insurance, disability benefits, and pension plans for seniors. The first ever recurring monthly occurred in 1940 to Ida Mae Fuller, who received, get this, a monthly benefit of $22.54. Now, adjusted for inflation, that is approximately $541.48 per month today, or a whopping $6,497.76 per year. Though, ironically, Miss Fuller did live to be 100 years old. So as you all know about the struggles with funding of Social Security today, well, the first recurring recipient broke that, outlier out there to 100 years. Today, roughly 1 in every 5 U.S. residents collect some sort of Social Security, with roughly 60 receiving some benefits. The average retirement benefit today is about $1,862 a month, or $22,344 a year. Though Social Security was never meant to be a retirement, it was actually created as an anti-poverty tool to get people above the minimum baseline of poverty. However, today many individuals rely upon it. And as we all know, although 65 years of age is what we consider as the retirement age, the actual full retirement age for anyone born in 1960 or later is 67 years of age. Today, we also should take a moment to honor those that did not receive many accolades during their service, but today is also National Navajo Code Talkers. Back during World War II, the U.S. military developed a program to recruit and train Native Americans who were fluent in both their native languages and English to send secret communications on the battlefield. The initial group of 29 Navajo men were recruited by the U.S. Marine Corps to develop the formal military code used during secret translations. As their native language did not have words for modern military technology or equipment, they developed an index to translate for certain items. For example, submarine, the code word was Veshlo, which translates to iron fish in Navajo. So, Talkers were present for several major battles, including the Utah Beach during the invasion of Normandy and D-Day, and at Iwo Jima. Even the 5th Marine Division Major Howard Connor stated, and I quote, "Were it not for the Navajos, the Marines would have never taken Iwo Jima." Despite their heroic contributions during the war, code talkers were told that they had to keep their work secret. They couldn't even tell their family members about their communication work. Since the codes that they developed remained unbroken, the U.S. military wanted to keep the program classified in case the code talkers were needed again in future wars. Even though the World War II code talker program was declassified in 1968, national recognition of code talkers was slow. And it wasn't until 2001 that the president awarded congressional gold medals to happy to those and thank them for their service. Also today is the feast day for Saint Maximilian Kolbe. For those that may not know about Saint Kolbe, Kolbe was a Polish priest and a Franciscan friar, and during World War II, Kolbe was captured by Nazis and sent to the Auschwitz concentration camp. Arriving at Auschwitz, Kolbe started ministering to his fellow prisoners, and he was subjected to violent harassment by the guards, including beatings and lashings. At the end of July of 1941, however, a prisoner successfully escaped Auschwitz. Unfortunately, in reprisal, the camp commander of Auschwitz ordered guards to pit 10 men at random to unfortunately be starved to death in an underground bunker. Well, during the time of gathering these random individuals, Kolbe was near a man who was randomly selected. When the man was selected, the man cried out, "My wife, my children." And at that moment, Kolbe, a random stranger, volunteered to take his place. A worker later testified from his prison cell, and after they were starved and deprived of water for 2 weeks, Kolbe was still alive. Impatient that the starvation was not taking their lives quickly enough, the Nazi guards then injected lethal injections to Kolbe and the 3 remaining men who remained alive. Kolbe died today, August 14th, 1941, by voluntarily sacrificing his own life to save a complete stranger. Pope John Paul II canonized Maximilian Kolbe as a saint on October the 10th, 1982. And the story does have a little bit of a silver lining because the individual who Kolbe went and stayed with ended up surviving the concentration camp and ended up living to be 93 years old. So even in the darkest places like Auschwitz, a light shined, and today we celebrate Maximilian Kolbe. Also today in history, imagine building something so majestic that it takes over 600 years to complete. Well, that was the case for the Cologne Cathedral in Germany. Construction began in 1248, and it wasn't until today, August 14th, 1880, where the Cologne Cathedral was finally officially finished being built. The landmark is a National World UN Heritage Site, and at 515 feet, the cathedral is the tallest twin-spired church in the world, the second tallest church in Europe, and the third tallest church of any kind in the world. Well, in Speedway, Indiana, there's just a small little racetrack called the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, home of the Indy 500. Well, today in 1909, they host their first motorized event. And it wasn't vehicles in terms of cars, it was motorcycles. Today in 1903, the first race at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway commences in a series of motorcycle races. 89 years ago today, the National Scenic Trail, known as the Appalachian Trail, was completed. Claimed to be the longest hiking trail in the world, it stretches to be 2,198 miles and passes through Georgia, North Carolina, Tennessee, Virginia, West Virginia, Maryland, Pennsylvania, Massachusetts, Vermont, and New Hampshire before finally ending on a mountain in Maine. Well, each year, the Appalachian Trail Conservancy estimates that over 3,000 attempts are made to try to traverse the entire trail, with only about 25% of them succeeding. Also today, in history in 1945, Harry Truman announced the end of World War II as VJ Day, Victory in Japan. President Truman told the public that Japan had surrendered unconditionally, a news report that led to joyous pandemonium, especially in New York City, where celebrations began in Times Square. The event, ever known as VJ Day, as I said, Victory in Japan Day, also sparked one of the most famous photographs of all time. During that time in Times Square, a photographer captured an anonymous U.S. sailor embracing and kissing a random stranger who happened to be a dental assistant in Times Square. And then today, in 1971, The Who released their fifth album, Who's Next? The album had hit singles such as Won't Get Fooled Again, Bob O'Reilly, and Behind Blue Eyes. In 2012, Rolling Stone magazine ranked Who's Next as the 28th greatest of all time albums on their list. And also today, give a happy birthday to comedian and actor Steve Martin, who celebrates his 81st birthday. The movie Planes, Trains, and Automobiles is one of my favorites, and especially during the holiday season, during Thanksgiving and Christmas. Last week in Utah, there was a severe mechanical issue at a very large apartment building. This apartment got engulfed in flames and had a multi-tier alarm for fire departments across the region to respond. And during the blaze, residents had to immediately evacuate as the flames overtook the apartment. Well, unfortunately, for one resident, his precious cat he could not find. And unfortunately, the blaze was taking over the apartment, and the resident had to leave without his cat. The fire department reported that the flames continued on for 60 hours, where firefighters finally were able to extinguish it. And after 72 hours, the man, not being able to find his cat, thought all was lost. Well, as the rescuers finally made entry and finally started to look through the rubble, a closet remained. One of the few areas of this apartment complex where a closet remained. And in that closet was this man's cat. The best part of the story, the cat's name was Toast. Apparently that cat had more than 9 lives in this. Now to some jokes. Yeah, Randy's favorite part. Why shouldn't you trust stairs? Because they're always up to something. The past, the present, and the future all walk into a bar. It was tense. A parents takes their kids to a zoo because, oddly enough, they had a special exhibit for dogs. After coming back, one of the parents who did not go on the trip went and asked the other parent, well, how the trip went. To that, the parent said, oh, not very well. The kids weren't very happy. Why? The other parent asked. Well, because they only had one dog there, and it was a Shih Tzu. And finally, a Spanish-speaking magician tells the audience he will do a magic trick where he will vanish out of thin air on a count of 3. So he goes, uno, dos. He vanishes out of thin air without a trace. No, dos trace. Today's fines, if you were late or not wearing your badge, that's $1. If you've ever been to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, that's $1. If you've ever hiked the Appalachian Trail, that's $1. Not the whole thing, but kudos to you if you have. And if you've ever owned the Who album, that'll be $1. Thanks, sir. Channel. You do a great job, Edward Ryan. Right. All right, who's happy? Happy bucks, who's happy? Jay?
Birthday, but it was also the anniversary of my first date with my wife.
All right. Who else? Who else is happy?
I'll give a head. Yesterday, the kids and wife went back to school, celebrating his 20, junior, high school. It's crazy because you all remember Abigail. She may have been the youngest Rotarian here at a week old. And then our son Bentley went to 8. So all back.
Nice.
Love the school.
Nice.
First year is not driving our daughter to school, so it's a little bit weird, all right?
I'll piggyback on that because I had a happy bug as well. Junior went back to school this week, and I'm just glad to have some structure back. Who else? All right. 50-50. Where's our ticket?
Make sure what you want to
Could you get that? All right. It's an orange ticket. Last 3 are 0, 8, 6. 0, 8, 6. There it is.
One each winners. No. Pop Rose.
Hot Groves. All right. Here you go. All right. Number 2. Thank you, sir. All right. Don? Ready to introduce our fantastic speaker?
Thanks, sir.
Ryan, I've got about 14 years of jokes a day if you want to borrow them on my Facebook. And when you have to explain a joke, it loses everything. Go Beavers. Come on, guys. We just did something with the council the other day, what I thought was really, really nice. We recognized the beaver as a symbol of Beavercreek. I don't know why it was never done before, but it's done now. But it's my great pleasure to introduce our today's speaker, Rachel Lane. Rachel's an award-winning author, the founder of Sunshine Book Club, a nonprofit dedicated to putting books in the hands of kids of all ages. And I think you're going to hear a little bit more about that later. She also serves currently as the chairwoman of the Creek Chamber of Commerce Board of Directors. Her passion for literacy and her leadership in our business community have made her a sought-after voice. And today we're fortunate to have her here with us. But before I hand things over, I want to add a personal note. I've had the privilege of watching Rachel grow and blossom over the last few years. In that time, she's become something more than a friend to me. She sometimes calls me Dad Don, and I'm proud to have her call her my adopted daughter. So it's with both professional admiration and personal pride that I ask you to join me in welcoming Rachel May.
I will now have to not cry. I'm Rachel. It's wonderful to be back here. It's been a couple of years since I came as a speaker, and this is my little brother. I'm kidding, he's not really, but I do call him that. And considering both Joe and I are so high energy, this is going to be really interesting to see how he changes slides for me. So I didn't come with dad jokes, so I will spare you that. We had those already, but just bear with us as we go through the slides here. And thank you, Joe, for helping me. Thank you, Mark, for inviting me. And thank you, Dawn, for those beautiful words. Really appreciate that. So one thing Mark wanted me to share, which I will as we go into the presentation, a little bit more about my author journey. But that ties into the Sunshine Book Club, which I am the president and founder of. And we started in 2000, believe it or not. I'm sorry, 2020, Rachel, not 2000. You might not need me. That advanced. Oh, perfect. Wait, let me make sure because, okay, cool.
Good.
Yes, thank you. So we did start during the COVID pandemic. So that was pretty interesting, adding a DBA onto our existing nonprofit, which was Sunshine and Clover Face Painting, which we did for 13 years. But as everyone knows, we could not paint faces during that time. We pivoted to DBA. Exploded and blown up. My passion for this is I read a book when I was young. I grew up in a very dysfunctional home, lots of poverty, lots of abuse. I was the kid that was in the trailer park. I was the kid that got made fun of for having buck teeth and being overweight. I was the kid that didn't have food. So I didn't have both parents together. And when I read this book, Ramona Quimby, it was the first time in my life that I did not feel so alone, that maybe someone else understood what I was going through. So I understand the importance of, I'm not doing that, so I don't know what just happened.
He wasn't sharing.
I wasn't sharing. Oh, okay, are we good? Okay, cool. Thanks. Hi, people on Zoom. So I knew that a child can be greatly impacted by reading and by books. So that is part of my why. When we started Sunshine Book Club, I had already been, sorry, this thing is zippy on me.
That was me.
Oh, I was like, what is actually happening?
Where do you want to be?
Okay, the clicker works now, it's good. Thank you. I can do this without the presentation, but I know that visual learners like to have something to look at besides my talking head. So I think we'll make this work now. In my previous community, before I was in the Fairborn little free libraries, the children, there were no library coach. What do you guys need? These books. And all the time when I was working out in the community, I would see that families didn't even have beds for their children or food, so they definitely were not going to have the income. Where it all started, needed to pivot I thought about that again, and that's how the Sunshine Book Club came about. This is,
There it goes.
okay, well, Stephen, thank you. Yeah, keep going, there, to the toes. Thank you. I'll just tell you when to switch. Is that cool? Yeah. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. That's here always feeling me. Okay, so we started in my 2-car garage and we would start collecting these books from different places. We got different places to park years and we kept looking for a space, but we are a volunteer-led 501c3 nonprofit. I work full-time and do this as a passion project, as well as all of our volunteers. And we are starting to get a lot of businesses to come alongside of us, which is really exciting, and the libraries. Thank you, Elizabeth. They have donated books as well, and thank you. Question would like to volunteers, she can tell you what it's like. Okay, next slide. Thank you. So we finally got a library space, and you see Dad Don in that picture. We were thrilled. We had one of our face painters actually paint this Dr. Seuss mural by hand, freehand, that good. So we were overjoyed to have our own library space. A library space sounds a lot better than just a room where we store books. And then after this, we call this like phase 1, I guess was in the garage. This would be phase 2. You can switch slides. Thank you, Stephen. We began a partnership with Agape for Youth in Dayton, and they give us a space at no cost, which is a huge win because we are fully funded by grants that we write and private donors. We do accept book donations, new and used, but very, very gently used. The Dayton schools love that we are bringing books that are either brand new or look new because a lot of those children in poverty, they get secondhand a lot. And so it's really exciting for them to get something that is not only brand new, but something of their very own. So we are inside Agape for Youth now. We strategically picked Kid You'll Move Mountains because we want those foster children that come into that facility to know that their story is not over and they can do anything that they put their mind to. And so we do provide books to their backpack program. So every time a child is taken into foster care, years ago they used to be given trash bags, which is atrocious to put their items in when they're leaving their family. So Agape for Youth makes sure that they have very nice backpacks filled with wonderful items and hygiene items. And this all started because a social worker came to me and said a child was asking for Dr. Seuss books. I'm like, we can totally do that. Okay, next slide. Thank you. I feel like I'm swirling all over because of all of our interruptions, and I have a migraine, so thanks for hanging in here with me. We go into public schools and we do community events. We partner with Bridges Path, Ronald McDonald House. We have so many partnerships now and it keeps growing. We've been very fortunate the last 6 years. The library, what you see here is our outreach inside the schools. If you've heard of Shoes for the Shoeless, you've probably had them come and share before, Chris Horlacher. That is our biggest partnership. Chris and I partner and strategically pick the places that have the biggest need. So we get to go in, we get to read to children, we get to give them books. We do a lot at Christmas as well. We go to trauma centers with Shoes for the Shoeless. Next slide. The statistics are very staggering. The child they have a higher risk of being incarcerated, getting pregnant before they graduate high school, and it goes on and on and on. And it actually greatly impacts our mental wellness as well. I can't even imagine not being able to read. I recently went on a mission trip to another country, and not being able to understand another language was so overwhelming. So I can't even imagine not being able to read. You would not know how to take your medicine, or really, how would you know anything if you can't read? Next slide. So you see more of our kiddos here at our outreach events, and it's really special how much they light up. Most of the children we meet don't have any books in their homes. So what we're actually doing is helping them build home libraries. We want them to have books to read in their home so that way they hopefully will pick up the book and read more because it's their very own and they don't have to take it back to school or lose it because they're used to losing a lot of things. Okay, next slide. This is more of our partnerships. We also have a lot of partnerships in Miami County. So if you know these people, it's Isaiah's Place, another foster care agency, and the Lincoln Center in Troy. And this is Shoes for the Shoeless. Okay, next slide. These are our awesome volunteers. We totally could not do what we do without them. I'm really not able to be in all the places at all the times, and our volunteers are so patient also with me as I'm juggling many hats. I love that we are, as I mentioned earlier, getting businesses to come alongside of us. The top left is Reynolds and Reynolds employees. So we have received their grant from their foundation, but their employees love our mission so much that they actually come to our library and they sort and organize and pack books for us. And it's just been wonderful. And then some of you may recognize Julie as well. She is a teacher. Okay, next slide. So since I've been here, we won the Do Good for Dayton Award, which was really exciting. They recognized our community for children. Okay, next slide. And then this year we won an award for ethics and integrity through the Better Business Bureau. So that was a huge win for us. Integrity is everything, and that is also part of my why. I feel that this is what God called me to do. I'm a person of faith, so is to take hope everywhere I can. I know what it's like to be a child with no hope. I know what it's like to be an adult with no hope. And I don't want anyone to ever feel that or feel that they are alone. Next slide. So that is why I write. So this ties into my author journey. My first book, The Messy Life, I actually had the book launch party in this room. So this room has a lot of special memories to me. And actually, Then Wildly Daring came before that book was finished. And I'm like, am I really writing a second book when I haven't even finished the first? Either ADHD squirrel brain or what is this really what I'm supposed to be doing? But before I finished Messy Life, Ruby Your Gym came. It just literally came to me. My niece was the inspiration for that because I have nephews. I adore my nephews. I don't have children. I can't have children. So it's really hard for me not having my own family. But I love kids and I feel like I'm called to be a spiritual mom to them, so to speak. So when I got a niece, though, the game changed because now I'm like, oh no, I know the experiences that she's going to face because I am a female. So Ruby You Are a Gym is so that children will always know their worth, that they were created so wonderful and that our differences make us unique. And in the very back of that book, with autism and hyperlexia, writes her story about how autism is actually her superpower. It's so beautiful. Little Delilah, she's like a goddaughter. And then we weren't done then because a friend at church said, you should really just get your kids' book in Spanish so you can take it on mission trip. I'm like, why didn't I think of that? Or why didn't I have, the book with both languages in it? So now we have Review Our Gym in Spanish as well. I hope the books on Audible, some people that do struggle with reading. I have taken the books to our local libraries. I know we donate books, when I come here and share, and thank you for that opportunity, Elizabeth. But I want anyone to be able to access books, right? So it was very important to me. I don't do this to make money. As a self-published author, you're probably going to have more of a loss than profit in doing this. But knowing that lives are being changed and so many people can be impacted by sharing our story is huge. So that is a little bit of my why and my author journey and Sunshine Book Club, and how it kind of all ties together is that we can take our very own book into the schools as well. And we do that. We take a few copies of Ruby with us every time we go, but the book club was around way before the children's book, and it's not about me. It's about the children and the women, and actually men too. The Messy Life deals a lot with grief and loss and trauma. So I've had veterans with PTSD reach out to me and say it has helped them heal and change their life. And Wildly Daring deals a lot with generational trauma and just persevering during really hard times because and nothing is perfect, but life is also extremely beautiful. So, what's the next slide? Okay, this is my huge thank you. Wildlybecoming.org, and I also have brochures on the table up here. If you would like to learn more about Sunshine Book Club, if you would like to volunteer, if you would like to get your business connected, I would love to bring you on board. We need a lot of help. We're growing like crazy. We just got a new partnership with the food bank in Dayton. So that's a huge undertaking. They reach 1,800 children a week. So we won't be doing every week yet. We'll be doing like one semester at a time. But we are at about approximately 21,000 books distributed so far. I would love to hit 1 million and then keep going. So yeah, I feel like I was really all over the place between the migraine and the slides. So I hope that wasn't too messy, but at this point I'm like, I'm messy, it's fine, it's okay. Life is messy. But I would like to take any questions you may have. So if we do have time for Q&A real quick, okay. Because I know I just want to make sure I touch on the author journey since Mark specifically asked for that. But I'd love to answer any questions if anyone has a question.
Out of curiosity, when you started writing your first book, from start to when you actually published it, how many years or how long did that take?
Yeah, so that's a great question. So at first, when I felt that God nudged to write it, I said, no, absolutely not. I am not doing that. But then the tug kept coming and confirmation kept coming. So then a writing coach reached out to me and she's like, I really want you to come and speak at my retreat for women. And it's in Florida, Siesta Key. And I was like, I really do that. I know that's bad, but that's the truth. I was like, I love Florida. If I could be a snowbird, maybe someday I can. But so I wrote The Messy Life and got it published in 6 months. So thank you for asking. It's a great question. Wildly Daring was a little bit longer because I was just so honestly heartbroken and exhausted. And I write a lot about physically being exhausted, rest. I write a lot about rest in that book because we can just run ourselves to death. And that took more like a year and a half. But then I had this thought in my head, like every year you have to put out a new book, Rachel. And I'm like, why did I do that to myself? Thank you for asking, Stephen.
Yeah,
Yes.
I was gonna ask you, like on average, like how long does it take to write a book?
Well, for me,
Yeah.
because every author is different, I guess it depends. I guess 6 months to a year,
Okay.
maybe more or less. Children's books are way easy compared to a novel. I mean, I could write it. I have 4 kids books right now. I have a Ruby series coming out. It's just, I need a bank and time.
Yeah.
So if you have a bank and you have time strategies, please talk to me. Thank you for asking. Yes.
You talked about putting your books out on Audible. Have you thought about platforms like Google?
I don't actually know what that is. Is that an app?
I think that those are ebooks.
It's like Audible.
It's a license that libraries use. So we work with publishers to have licenses for access to books.
Oh, okay, nice. That's a great idea. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah, I'd totally be open to that because the ebook is available. All my books are on Amazon or in local bookstores, small bookstores. I don't go to like Barnes and Noble. I'm all about supporting local business. So, did someone else have a question?
Randy.
Yes.
Did you do your own illustration for your kids' book?
No. No, I know my strengths and weaknesses. So I found a really amazing graphic designer and she did a phenomenal job. As a matter of fact, her name is Sherry. And she also designed the book covers for The Messy Life of Wildly Daring. Except I took the picture on Wildly Daring. I was at Joshua Tree in California. It was 112 degrees that day, and I got in the backseat of the car. I was like, "No, I brought this dress. I want this on the book." So, who knows what I'll do. I'm actually writing my next novel, but I'm writing it and don't want to. So, stay tuned for that. Anyone else? Thanks for being so great to me today. Yes.
Small comment. Chris Orlocker does an amazing job.
She does.
I mean, she started delivering shoes out of that for pickup.
Yes. She's an amazing woman that I love dearly.
I worked with her quite a bit. Been a couple of years, so yeah.
And I'm sure she remembers you and really appreciates you. She remembers everyone. Thank you for sharing that.
Oh, you.
Yeah, that was our huge God win, I feel like, with Sunshine Book Club is that partnership. Because we have access straight into the schools. But believe it or not, how we started was in Xenia. We were partnering with librarians in the schools there because of a retired teacher I know. So we were just dropping off books, and then the librarian would send them home with kids during COVID so that hopefully they would read.
If you don't mind sharing, so you translated your book into Spanish and then you recently went on your trip. How many books did you give away? And can you kind of give us insight on how that trip was? And
Yeah, absolutely. So Stephen asked about the mission trip I went on, how many books I took in Spanish, the children's book, and how that worked and what that was like. And I went to El Salvador and I went with a team of about 15 people. And thanks to Rafi Rodriguez, does I feel like he's a member of this group, or either you know him, he's everywhere in Beavercreek. But Rafi and I had connected at a date chamber breakfast briefing, and he's like, "Oh, Rachel, I love you're going to El Salvador." And I'm like, "Right." You know, we've met before because he is writing a book and is obviously he speaks Spanish. And I said, "Hey, you could help me. Tell me what you think about. Did I translate this book correctly? I'm not gonna. Okay, truth. I was on time crunch, so I used chat. Now, chat could be spitting out. Spanish is not the same in every country or place. Like it's different. And so Rafi was helping me with that. He's like, you know what? I want to help you with this trip. So he donated money to purchase Ruby books. So thanks. I was able to take those. So we gave out 100 books. And it was so special. The kids were overjoyed. And it was so funny because I would open the back. I cannot speak Spanish at all. It's like I can say hi and cheese, and that's about it. And so I would like point, and then they would look at my picture in the back, and they'd look up and go, and I think they thought I was like famous. I'm totally not famous, but kids are amazing, you know, so they were just like overjoyed. And then I saw, this is gonna make me cry, a little Down syndrome boy playing with the book, and just knowing that, you know, Delilah's story is in there, I think was so special. So yeah, thank you for asking. Yeah, that was like an out of body experience going to a different country. It was interesting. Yes.
So you got the podcast, the books, nonprofit, day job, all the things that you're doing. For anyone that wants to be like you when they grow up, are there any books that you recommend that helped you along your journey?
Oh, wow. Well, if they want to be like me, just kidding. Thank you for asking that. That's a great question. I do love reading, and there are lots of books that have helped me on my journey. The Body Keeps Score, understanding how your body, your nervous system responds to trauma and stress, and how we can have all of that trapped in our body that might not show up until years later. So that helps with like holistic psychologist. Her books are really good as well about reparenting yourself. It sounds weird. It's not as weird as it sounds. It's really understanding your core wounds because our relationships, our very first relationships with our parents, impact everything in our lives. We don't think it does, but it certainly does. And you know that, Sandy, because you have all those kids in juvenile that probably have childhood trauma, attachment wounds. So anything by holistic psychologist, she has 2 books. maybe 3 now. And well, I would have to say I can't leave out the number one book for me personally is the Bible, just because if it wasn't for my faith and my morals and values, I would probably literally would not even be standing here today. So I can't leave out that as the number one book. That I have countless books I've read. Lisa Turkers has one, Forgiving What You Can't Forget. Because it's really hard to forgive sometimes, and unforgiveness can keep us stuck and trapped too. So I could keep going on and on about books. I'm a book nerd, but anything with the brain, I'm a brain nerd too. So really learning and understanding the brain. Thank you for asking.
Yeah, so fun fact, the first time I met her was here when she spoke. Did a great job. Then obviously we kind of connected and stayed in touch. Fun fact, and you guys should probably all guess this, but we're actually technically related. So I did not say that till a couple months ago. We're technically
Yes.
related. So
Yeah, it's such a small world. I love it. Yeah, we're all connected. That's why you're good to people, right? Because you're always going to be around each other again at some point. Anyone else? Okay. Well, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Gotta take a picture together.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, so Beth, you actually brought the book. So her copy that she talked about, Wildly Daring, so it's gonna go into the Green County Library. So where do you want to do this? Actually, let's go over here.
All the people on Zoom, get ready for your picture.
Okay.
right, ready. 1, 2, 3. Thank you.
Thanks.
And thank you, Rachel. You're a rock star. Everything you do for our community. So thank you. All right. So do we have any old business needs to be addressed? Yes?
There's 86 days to Halloween.
You took my thunder. What's on my paper? Yeah. Yeah. Got it. And there's 133 days till Christmas. Just letting you know that's creeping up. So, reminder for today, we have a board meeting right after the meeting. And then our next week readers are Dave Dunn, Dave Cusack. We have readers next week. And then our speaker next week is Renee from Fraud Prevention. So that's speaker for next week. All right. Any other news for the good of the club? All right. Can we stand for the pledge? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic which it stands, one nation, under God, liberty, justice for all.
Everyone have a good